I'm gonna start with that one. I'm sorry. Roar. Hey guys, it's Cooking with Cubans first annual video, and we are going to be doing pancakes. You might not think pancakes is a traditional Cuban dish, but there are some Cuban secrets in it that we are going to show you today. Joining me is our second host. It is Eduardo Villara.
All right, let's make these pancakes, right?
Yep.
So the first thing we're gonna need is we're gonna have our dry ingredients and we have our wet ingredients, and we've put them aside. You ready for that?
Yes.
The first thing we do is we take some all-purpose flour.
This is wet, by the way.
That's wet. And the all-purpose flour has to be 1 cup. And what we're gonna do is level that cup with a knife. We're gonna make sure it's a nice cup of flour that's nicely divided. Here, put that in the bowl. So with that flour,
Wait, right now,
goes goes a teaspoon of baking powder. Yes?
Yes.
And half a teaspoon of salt.
We have 1, 2.
And here is the secret ingredient. Sugar. Sugar is from Cuba, or there was a big sugar plantations and sugar business in Cuba a long time ago. So we do 2 tablespoons of those. Yeah, we're Cuban. We're heavy on the sugar.
And sugar makes everybody happy.
Yeah, so why don't you mix that up? So you mix it up a little bit like that. He's a great mixer. Great. Now, Max, why don't you crack 1 egg? Crack 1 egg into this bowl. Very good. So we're gonna do 1 cup of milk for the wet. We are now doing wet. 1 cup of milk for the wet. 1 egg. And we're going to do a little bit of vanilla. We use a lot of vanilla in Cuban cooking, but in American cooking as well. So half a teaspoon of vanilla.
It smells amazing.
It does smell amazing. So you want to give that a quick whisk, Mr. Max?
Oh, yes, yes.
Max uses a very interesting technique. It is a technique used by many indigenous tribes all throughout Latin America. Right, buddy?
Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Lots.
Great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pour the wet into the dry slowly and combine them, but not over combine it. Keep pouring. Nice. Very nice. We want to get a nice batter going there. And here's the moment where you have to see if it's too watery, add a little bit more flour. If it's too dry, add a little bit more milk. But I'm thinking this is just right. These will come up nice and fluffy.
Fluffy!
So we're going to now pour that back in because it's easier to pour into the cooking pan when you have a nice handle.
A lot easier, by the way.
So Max, why do you love these pancakes so much?
Because they're good.
They're good? And usually how many do you eat?
7, 6, yeah.
Last time you had 12. It was amazing. Okay.
I'm hungry big boy.
So now we're going to go over to the kitchen. Okay, so here's the trick now for all you kids. All you kids, you have to have your parent turn on the stove, and a parent must be next to you when you're working by the stove. So Max is going to take a pat of butter and put it into
this?
Yes, and put it into our pan. There we go. Very good, Max.
It's hot, by the way. Very
and it's hot, so we're just gonna swirl it around a little bit
Swirly.
and get that butter nice and going.
Swirl.
Max, there's no you have to pay attention when you're by the stove, remember?
Yes, I do.
So now we're ready to pour our pancakes in. Would you like to do this, or would you like me to do this?
We can take turns.
We could take turns.
We're a family.
Because we're a family. So we're just going to pour that and make, not too big pancakes because we want to fill. We want to get at least 3 going here.
At a time.
At a time. I'm sure you're going to want to flip, right? So you need a good spatula.
Oh, hot.
We're going to need this. And we want to wait until there are little air bubbles that tell us that it's cooked underneath. How is it again?
Oh, what?
How do the bubbles go?
They go like.
Right. So Max has his own pancake recipe, which he will share at some point. This is Papa's, and he really wanted to have that recipe out for everyone, to share to everyone.
Yes, we did.
To share with everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is usually our weekend breakfast, correct?
I just saw a bubble.
There's 1 bubble, there's 2 bubbles. It's looking pretty good. So what you might want to do is just carefully look under one and see how it's doing.
Oh, not ready.
Not ready?
Almost.
Almost. Great. Why don't you flip that one?
This one?
Yeah, I think that's ready. Excellent. All the way in and flip. Excellent. Max is a great flipper. See how nice and fluffy they are?
Fluffy!
Great. So now we'll go to plating.
So, we got the pancakes. Let's see. It is extravagant. That's a word, by the way. How amazing these came out. Now it's time.
This is a good time to add something like blueberries or bananas or...
syrup.
Because you are a purist, aren't you?
Yep.
Let's add the syrup. And again, you don't want to do too much syrup because these have a lot of sugar in it, okay? That's great, Max.
Okay.
And it's time to dig in. So everybody, thanks for joining us. We're going to do a couple more. Stay tuned for our snack series. And again, this is Cooking with
Cubans!
Eso! And cut.
I went to the bathroom.
And
then I'm gonna make it in slow motion to make it so sad. Oh! Roar! Seal up.